Picking up where we left off in the last video, paint chips with a rather precarious attempt to fill them in. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to pull out the old touch-up paint, and I'll work on that a little bit later. Try to do a better job filling them in. Maybe do a little bit of wet sanding to see if I can get it as level as possible. Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. This is the second video of the series. Just turning around this Porsche Macan that we picked up here. And it, although it doesn't have many miles, it looks like it's been through the ringer in some areas. We're trying to correct that. After going around and taking care of pulling out that the excess touch-up out of the paint chips and scratches, we want to protect areas like emblems, plastic trim, some black piano finish. We're going to be doing some aggressive correction in this video, and we don't want to bump up against any of the trim accidentally with any of the pads. I'm going to be doing some correcting. My son, some of my employees will. This is a... This turnaround and this correction and the work on this vehicle will be done in a relaxed environment, as you'll see, during off hours, away from peak hours, maybe in the evenings or during the weekends, and just spruce this thing up a little bit. When it comes to masking tapes, we have three of them here. We like the 3M line, 3M Precision, 3M Delicate. This here, the orange, is the 3M Heavy Duty. I like to throw on a car when I'm breaking out the rotary polisher. By the way, you can be quick and efficient doing this. You don't have to tape up the car like you're doing, a paint job. I see some pics and videos where they're taping up the vehicle with 3 rolls of tape. It looks like it's taking at least a half hour, 45 minutes to do this, and it's just cutting into your overhead. There's no need for it. Just tape it up so you're protecting the trim, and just the trim that you may have. There's potential where you can strike it or bump up against it with a pad or a backing plate. No more, no less. And that's it. 5-10 minutes, you're done. Just the areas that there's a potential to risk a little bit of damage are covered. We can get to the paint. When it comes to the paint, test areas as usual, even if I'm comfortable with the finish, knowing the finish, having worked on the finish before, if I think it's medium or hard, which sometimes these Porsches, they can be medium, some can be hard, downright stubborn. It feels like sometimes I could work on the same car from the same year and there are 2 finishes, and that's a possibility where they could have outsourced to clear the second half of the year. It's happened. The H901 from Chemi teamed up with a rotary and a wool pad. The Lake Country hybrid pads are fantastic. I like to spread the compound onto the panel and then prime the wool pad and get to work. Not a lot of sling from the compound flying all over the place. When you're using a rotary, you do need to be prepared. There's going to be a little bit of residue, controlling your environment. What we do is, after a correction, we pull everything out and wipe down the shop, sweep it up, vac, do some mopping, wipe down all the flat surfaces so we have a clean environment or a clean room when it's time to protect vehicles, either coating them or using paint protection film. When it comes to technique, as usual, nice, fluid, smooth movements. You'll never see me flailing the polisher around. I want a nice, even cut throughout the panel, and that will include having the polisher on the 4th speed setting at max. You'll never hear the polisher screaming at the highest speed setting. The arm movement is a little bit faster than correction speed on a DA polisher. You just need to adjust that when you're switching back and forth from one tool to the next. Tilting the polisher when needed to fit snug into some curved areas, laying flat as often as possible. As you've noticed here, I have worked this half of the liftgate for quite some time. The cycle time or open time of H901 from Macan is rather impressive. A reason I like to work with it, easy to wipe off even after that extended working time, and usually some decent results. As I bring you in to see, we've made some pretty nice strides, but not quite there yet for my satisfaction. It's just unbelievable what this vehicle has been through in the short time it's been out on the roads. Again, not brand new, but it doesn't have a ton of mileage on it. So let me do another pass. Sometimes with these either hard, stubborn clears or the clears that are troubled, such as this one, another pass will do. Don't worry, we're not removing too much clear. The measurements at the beginning, which I failed to show you, are an average of about 4.8 mils all the way around. And we're starting with just 88 gloss units, so huge improvements should be made here. And as you can see, after the second pass, we have removed a good 95-96% of the imperfections, and all that's left behind is a little bit of haze, and that's from that wool pad. It is aggressive, and it will leave some haze behind to finish. And depending on what type of clears, that haze can be really obvious in some finishes and not so obvious in others. The harder the surface, the less haze you're going to have. We'll follow that up with the finishing polish and pad. The purple line on the pad matches up with the micro polish from Macan as well. And we'll switch over to a dual action polisher. You could have stuck with the rotary polisher to finish as well. It does a great job. But whatever tool you're comfortable with is the one you're going to grab. This short series here will also give you an indication of what I use on my personal vehicles. And I just recently got a comment through email, mentioning, I see you reviewing all of these products. I want to know what you use on a daily basis or on your personal vehicles. And with this series and this video in particular, you get a chance to see that. And I'll try to remember to put the links of everything we use and talk about when it comes to polishes, tools, protection, whatever, down in the description box for you to follow and look into. As I'm doing this during off-peak hours or my personal time, I know a lot of you get to detail and protect your vehicles, nighttime, weekends, when you're not working. And I often get questions about that. Yeah, it's completely okay to start the project one weekend, finish it the next. If you're going to start, if you did your prep and you started your correction, only got halfway through, and then you have to, use the car to go to work, just wash it, decon it again. You shouldn't have too many bonded contaminants. Just check for it. Put the bag over your hand and slide lightly down the bottom half of the car. That's where all those contaminants would be. And if you need to, use a very light clay or plumber's putty to get those contaminants off. Pick up where you left off, and you'll be perfectly fine. Let me know down in the comments section how many do this for a living, how many are enthusiasts or just taking care of their own vehicle, night times, weekends. When you get to work on your car, do you get to start and finish a project all the way through, or do you need to break it up, as I'm doing here? Just working on this when I have time. That should do it. I'm confident with these two steps here, the cut and finish, with the combination I showed you. We'll be right where we want to be. Without really removing a ton of clear, I'm going to try to remember to walk around the car when we're finished as well. Again, starting at about 4.8 mils on average of all three layers. We're not going to see that much of a drop, even with the cut and finish process using the wool pad and rotary. So let me remove the masking tape and we'll bring you in and take a look. You can already see the huge difference we've made already. I think most of this is definitely an automated car wash, a tunnel wash. Is where most of this damage came from, but the overall dullness, the swirls, the scratching, removed, and that reveals that gorgeous metallic blue underneath. We'll grab the swirl finder and take an even closer look on both sides. If you wanted to, you can absolutely take another pass if this is going to be something like a show car for you. But as a daily driver, we don't want to shave that clear too much. It's not going to be a garage queen sitting inside. It's going to be used. It's going to be getting mileage. It's not going to be perfect, and that's not what we're going after. So the rest of the car, we're just going to repeat that exact same cut finish process. And as you can see here, it's doing a great job. It just leaves a little bit of haze behind. And you need to follow up with that micro cut. While we were working our way around the car during the correction, we got a call that the wheels were completed. They were sent out for some powder coating. I don't like silver wheels to begin with, and I believe this finish, with what we have planned later, which will be a little bit of a surprise, will work well together. Let's break open the packaging. Always well done, well packaged. I will leave a link for the individual that does this for us here at the shop down in the description box. If you're looking for somebody that does excellent quality work, I mean, this wheel looks better than new on both sides, inside and out. I also ordered black new valve stems to match, and the sensors, and then also the center caps, which are not here yet, hopefully soon. Okay, Junior's going to load back up again, take the tires with, get everything mounted and balanced, and we'll catch you guys in the next video of this series.